Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Mary Anything Within Reason. What a week. Feels like we say that every Sunday, but what a week it was in America. America, that rapidly declining democracy. I'm very much looking forward to your questions. I am solo tonight, so I ask for your patience and forbearance because it makes it a little trickier to get through the comments to questions and stuff. So bear with me. Anyway, very glad you're all here again. It was a lot. It actually feels like, this is a commentary on my state of mind more than anything else, but it feels like Friday. It's not supposed to be how it works. Okay. Let's see. Philip, question. When is the next Trek Politics? I'm very glad you asked me that question because for technical reasons, or I say, because of technical issues, Trek Politics, which again is just started last week. We have our second episode. It was supposed to drop yesterday at 6, but it is dropping tonight at 8 o'clock. Bob and I are discussing an episode of Voyager. And our guest, this is very, very exciting, I have to say. Our guest is not only the man who directed the episode, which is called Living Witness. It's Tim Russ, who was also plays Tuvok on Voyager, who also happens to be somebody Bob and I both know, and he is amazing. Just like amazing as an actor, amazing as a director, amazing as a commentator on the state of the world, but an amazing human being. So definitely check that out. It is worth it. Yeah, you get to hang out with me and Bob and Tim talking about what actually is legitimately one of the best episodes of Star Trek. It's very old school. It's unexpected. It has a lot of the things that drew me to Star Trek in the first place, like serious in-depth conversations and struggles to find solutions to problems. And it also, as much of the best Star Trek, is very relevant to our time. And this episode is about, in part, disinformation, misinformation, what happens when the historical record remains uncorrected, what happens when the narrative, our historical narrative, is co-opted by the winning side, right? So, if I were you, I would watch the episode Living Witness first, and then I would watch Trek Politics, but either way, definitely check out Trek Politics, the episode with our very special guest, Tim Russ, about that episode, Living Witness. Thank you for asking, Philip. Oh, I know. I forgot to do something I need to do in order to get your questions more rapidly. WGAS 420. Question. Has Donald ever told the truth? My answer will shock you. Donald often tells the truth, just not in the way you might expect. First of all, when he tells the truth, it always reflects badly on him. So, for example, he was on that ridiculous couch show, Fox and Friends. And he was asked about political violence on the right, because it's not just the left. And, what are we going to do about bringing the country back together? And he basically said, quite honestly, I don't give a shit about bringing the country back together. That was the truth. Because division in America redounds to his benefit. Another way he tells the truth frequently is by through the use of the defense mechanism called projection. So whenever he's accusing somebody, or particularly a Democrat, of doing something terrible, he's really talking about himself. He just may not consciously be aware of that. Crooked Hillary, Lion Ted, Sleepy Joe. Look in the mirror, little guy. Seriously. Um, oops. Sorry, the feed's a little weird. Mida Cheryl, thank you so much, as always. Gifted one Mary Trump Media membership. And I'm always curious. Ah, yes, a Mida Cheryl twofer. Question. Thank you, Mida Cheryl. Again. Question. Which would you most like to swim with? Whales, dolphins, octopuses, or rays? Ooh. Oh, wow. That is very hard. Can I say all of them? I don't know. Oh, I guess if I had to choose one, dolphins. But I don't want to choose one. I want to choose all of them. Also, it kind of depends on the octopus we have in mind. Like, are they the little guys? In which case, sure. Like, not. I don't know if I really want to be around the really, really big ones. Whales, definitely, as long as I don't get mistaken for, krill. How could I possibly be? And I actually have swum with rays, not swum with them. I swum over them in Grand Cayman, which was very cool. But I'd like to do that out in the Pacific, off the coast of Baja Peninsula. Great question. But again, all of them. Why do we have to choose? Really? Let's see. Okay. This is a cool question. What is your favorite place to oh, sorry. It's from Julia. What's your favorite place to visit in Firenze? And what is your favorite Italian dish? Ciao and grazie. Cool. I like this question. Okay. I was just in Florence, also known in Italian as Firenze. I've never understood why we changed the name of place names that we could easily say in English. How did Firenze become Florence? I do not know. Unless it's because, and this is actually true, Florence Nightingale, she buried there or she's either buried in Santa Croce or she had something to do with Santa Croce. Maybe that's why. I have no idea. Or maybe that's what Firenze means, although I don't think so. When I was younger, like back in the 90s and aughts, I spent a fair amount of time in Florence. And my favorite place of all of the places is the Tornabuoni Chapel in Santa Maria Novella, which is quite near the train station. And the reason it's my favorite place is because in it are, for me, the most extraordinary frescoes. The frescoes I most love in the world by Domenico Ghirlandaio, who was the greatest painter in the mid to late 15th century. He was Florentine and truly brilliant. His just Google Tornabuoni Chapel, Domenico Ghirlandaio, and frescoes. It's the frescoes tell the story. It's a fresco cycle, tell the story of the Virgin Mary. And they're amazing and stunningly beautiful. So that's my favorite place. I made a pilgrimage to there practically every day I was ever in Florence. My second favorite place is San Marco. But I'll stop boring you. Literally, my favorite Italian food. This is so boring, and I apologize. Spaghetti or capellini pomodoro. I also like rigatoni or penne with pink sauce. With Parmesan and or mozzarella, obviously. And some kind of Italian red wine, preferably Barolo. There's way too much information, but All right. Motley Pizer, hello. Question. Are we right to be concerned about the mental frail condition of King Charles, who has invited the Orange Monster England for a second state visit in recent years? I don't I don't know. I have to be completely honest, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, but I'm not at all interested what anybody in the royal family does. I don't think it matters. I think it's inappropriate. I do not understand why anybody who doesn't need to would invite Donald. I mean, I guess the calculus is, well, let's make sure he doesn't have a temper tantrum, I guess. But I mean, Donald defiles everywhere he goes, so I don't see the utility inviting him. I would question Charles's judgment. That's for sure. Jules plays for sorry, Julie, I apologize. I always get this wrong. Jules plays taps for vets. Hello. Question. Hi, Mary. Hello. Question is, do you play more instruments other than guitar, even once upon a time? Yeah, my first instrument was the piano. I started when I was 6, and then, like or maybe younger, but I, didn't play for long, and then when I was 6, I got another piano teacher, and she was quite frankly terrible, and I didn't learn anything other than how to read music, which is very useful, but I learned nothing about how to play the piano. Seriously. It was the biggest waste of time and my parents' money ever because like I didn't play any classical music. There were no I don't know what this woman thought she was doing. So I can play the piano, but not in a way that matters. But I have a keyboard. And that's so funny. I was just talking to somebody about this. On occasion, I will play around with the piano, but I'm a much to the extent if I practiced as much as I would like to, I'm a much better guitar player, which I know isn't saying much, but I also love I think the guitar is just I'm more suited to it for whatever reason. When I was in college, I took violin lessons, but I started about 16 years too late, and I tried to play the clarinet once. Didn't go particularly well. So mostly the guitar. And I really do wish I were playing more than I do. Because it's what I tell you guys, we have to do not we have to, we don't have to, but we're so much better off when we engage in creative endeavors and when we learn new things. So like I'm not good enough at the guitar to pretend that I can't keep learning and getting better at it. It's just like that's one of the reasons I loved playing tennis, which is another thing I need to start doing again. Every time I stepped on a tennis court, I knew if I set my mind to it, I would get better in some way. And that's totally true with the guitar as well. By the way, it's never too late. I didn't start playing the guitar until I was or sorry, learning the guitar until I was 40. So, go for it. Steven, thank you so very much. Gifted 1 Mary Trump Media membership. Awesome. I forgot to turn the air on. It's very toasty in here, so I'm quite thirsty. I apologize. Nanner, thank you very much. Oh, I like this comment. Celebrating not paying attention to news today. Good job. Like, seriously. And as far as I know, there's really not any news today, which is unusual for a weekend. But I think we had more than our fair share last week. Seriously. I mean, last week was brutal. So I'm glad you got at least one day of respite. Susan, thank you as always. Comment ordering pizza for Truck Politics at 8 p.m. ET tonight on Mary Trump Media. That is a brilliant way to do it. Pizza. Absolutely. I actually might be having pizza for dinner myself. I truly hope you enjoyed the episode. Seriously, we had such a great time. And Tim, in addition to being a wonderful person, and a multi-talented person, he's a musician. In addition to being an actor, he's like an amateur historian. He's a bit of a Renaissance man, actually. He's very, very smart and so passionate about what's going on in this country and so knowledgeable. So I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it. Lizzie Beth, thank you so very much. Question, Mary, in your book, you described your uncle as the most human of his siblings. Can you tell us why you think that is? Actually, I mean, I could be wrong, which would be weird, but it's been a while. If I wrote that, that's not what I meant. He appeared the most human. The most human person, well, again, this is after my dad died. The most human person, the most deeply human person in my family was my father. He was the only human in my family. And I mean, by my family, I mean his family of origin, right? Just his siblings, his parents. Robert, who was like almost like probably 9 years younger than my father, as he grew older. So when I referred to him that way, I meant like as an adult. He had the most facility in appearing human. But, and this is surprising, he was actually worse than Donald. The only reason Donald's worse is because Donald has more power. But Rob was a terrible person. Just a terrible, terrible person. I think he may have been a sociopath, actually. Guess it runs in the family. Brant, thank you very much, Brant, as always. Question, did Robert play golf and drink Coke like Donald? No. Nobody else in the family played golf. Robert was a soccer player. Like he was really into soccer. Like that's actually how I started playing soccer because I think he played in college. He went to Boston University. He played it. He was good. He's a good soccer player. And when I was a little kid, that's what we did. Whenever we were at my grandparents and Rob was around, we played soccer with him. He did not play golf. I don't think. Yeah, I don't recall any of them really drinking other than Donald drinking Diet Coke. My grandparents had Coke in the house. I think like everybody drank soda back then, but like no, not in any. Like weirdly, the drinks we had at holidays we basically had apple juice. Which seems very, I mean, I guess at the time it seemed normal, but now it seems really friggin' weird. Like most people in my family, none of them had hobbies or interests of any kind. Marianne read a lot, but that's about it. Christopher. That is very generous of you. Thank you so much. Comment. It's so frustrating and not surprising that there's hardly any coverage about the unaliving of Evergreen High School students in Colorado, and we're vilified for holding multiple truths about Kirk. I'm over it. I know, right? I know. I mean, one of the things that's most infuriating is that those of us who were discussing Charlie Kirk are getting criticized for, as you say, as if we're somehow being disrespectful to him when we're quoting him. Like, if you liked him so much, why do you have a problem with our repeating what he said? That doesn't make sense to me. But the idea that now school shootings are so commonplace that a teenage boy going and shooting up a school doesn't even deserve a medal. Why did not enough people die? Is that the thing? Or is it because allegedly he was on the right of the political spectrum and nobody wants to take it's absurd, especially since it is absolutely right to be talking about the dangerous climate in this country that is largely driven by the rhetoric of people like Donald Trump. It is absolutely appropriate that we talk about how dangerous it is to engage in the kinds of stochastic terrorism Donald Trump engages in on practically a daily basis, and the climate of hate and division that Charlie Kirk participated in, for God's sakes. He was not a champion of free speech and open debate, please. He was not doing politics right. And if he was, then we're really in big trouble. We definitely need to be having those conversations. But, and the other, obviously, we need to be having conversations about the ways in which young men in particular young white men in this country are getting radicalized online. But the bottom line is, in America, much of this could be avoided if we didn't have more guns than people. We have over 400 million guns in this country, and that includes weapons of mass death, weapons of war, high-capacity magazines, and bullets that literally rip human beings to shreds and can't be used for any other purpose. If you're a hunter, you're not using the kinds of weapons and bullets being used to slaughter people. That's the conversation we need to be having first and foremost. I actually, I did not check in on this situation. The last I knew, the shooter in the Evergreen High School tragedy had died by his own hand. And I know at least 2 students were in critical condition, and I hope they pull through. But yeah, barely a blip on the radar screen. I guess that's just something else we need to accept, which is actually what Charlie Kirk said a couple of years ago. Dodie, Mary, do you remember the Star Trek episode called Immunity? McCoy administers an antidote for everyone on a planet, and they are instantly cured. That's what we need for MAGA. Treats from Zach. Thank you, Zach. Zach gives the best treats. I mean, I know in the episode Miri, he's also under the gun to come up with an antidote. I don't know if you remember that in that episode, lifespans were much bigger, something about the planet, but as soon as so you stayed a child a very, very long time, but as soon as you hit adolescence, you started rapidly aging. That's the only antidote one I can think of. But whatever the case, I have to go check out Immunity now. Whatever the case, yes, if only. But even if there were a vaccine for MAGA, Robert Kennedy would block its development and distribution. So, oh well. Donna, super sticker, thank you so very much. Oops, what did I just do? And we got a Donna twofer. Thank you, Donna. That's awesome. And very kind of you and generous. Linda McDonald is a new member. Thank you so much and welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. Edie is a member for 1 month. Thank you so much, Edie. Oops. Gail is a super sticker. Thank you, Gail. That's fantastic. Really appreciate it. Betty Veronica 2.0. Thank you as always. Comment. Hi, Mary. Hello. I was going to ask if Donald patterned his wig after the triples, but he's not cool or smart enough to annoy Star Trek. He is not. And how dare he if that's the case? How dare he? Tribbles are awesome. And they wear it much better. Night Owl, Ohio. Thank you so much for that. Comment late fee. And with all the rhetoric after Kirk, do you think the regime will use voter registration to track down Democrats? This hit me hard after watching several of these right-wing videos. They're already doing that, honestly. Yeah, it's a bit much, you know. Donald is he is, as I've said before, pouring gasoline on a fire of his own making. The problem is he and they seem to think that they can taint it, but the problem that the lesson the Republican Party never learns is that just because you create the monster does not mean you can retain control of it. Just ask Dr. Frankenstein. Jana, thank you very much, as always. Question, since it's Spot LAX weekend, Airplane Darkfest, I don't know what that is, but cool. Past or present, do you have a favorite airline and airplane? I will always, always, always be fond of TWA because that is the airline for which my dad flew in 1964, and the 707, which is the plane he flew. He was a first officer, or what do they call him? Co-pilot? I'm not really sure what the designation is. I can't remember. Sorry. Anyway, his route, he flew the Logan to LAX route, which was at 25, kind of a lot of responsibility. So yeah. Vera, thank you so very much for that comment. Enjoy your No News Day, Mary. Getting back to my football game. Have a great evening, all. Enjoy the football game. Stephen, thank you again, Stephen. Comment, going up for my birthday dinner. Love you all so much. Oh, Stephen, happy birthday. Have an amazing, amazing time. In the middle of nowhere, thank you as always. Hey, just got here. Ergo, late fee. As if that were really a thing, but we appreciate it nonetheless. And welcome, regardless of your lateness. Christopher, thank you so very, very much. Comment, the next set of No King's Day nationwide protests are happening on October 18th. Please join in on any of the protests if you can. I will be doing the same. Yes, we should all be doing that. And we, of course, will keep you all apprised. Greg, member for 4 months. Thank you so much. Comment, hat tip for the TWA reference. You're welcome. TWA was the second biggest airline after Pan Am, and it was owned by Howard Hughes. And back then, pilots were like rock stars. Like seriously, people would stop them and ask for their autographs and ask to have their pictures taken. Just incredible. Okay, another question from Julia. What is your favorite watch brand and why? Ciao e grazie. Va bene. Okay. I don't know that I have a favorite watch brand yet. I really like watches, though. I do. I'm wearing a watch now. One of my favorite watches. But I can say like my current favorite watch that I have is an Omega, or as the Brits would say, Omega. But I don't own one, sadly. But Patek Philippe has beautiful, beautiful, beautiful watches. Like really, oh my goodness gracious. It's an aspirational watch and probably never gonna happen, but they're just stunning. I also love Breguet. I'll bore you if I keep going on. So I'll just stick with my favorite watch right now is an Omega, and I wear it fairly often. So you've probably seen it before. Not that you're paying attention to such things, because why would you? But yes, I am a watch person. And fun fact or not, I'm a right-handed person who wears my watch on my right hand, which is very unusual, if not rare. In fact, I have met one person in my entire life, other than me, because I have met myself, who wears her watch on her right hand and is right-handed. It's not a thing that happens often in nature. What's going on here? Susan, thank you again, Susan. Comment, happy to see folks taking a break from the news this weekend. Our own at Ghostly Air 59 ran a 5K. That's phenomenal. Congratulations to Ghostly Air 59. Seriously, awesome. Very, very awesome. Tia Mia, thank you very, very much. It's a miss the party fee. I'm sorry, but hey, we're here every night except Saturday nights. And then there's Trek Politics to look forward to in about an hour and a half. From Jane, thank you very, very much, Jane. Question, what do you think happened when Donald was MIA for 6 days? Thoughts on his health, please? Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't have any more insight into anybody else. What I do know is because he basically only exists when he's in front of a camera. If he was out of sight for 6 days, something clearly was going on. We know several things without actually we know 2 things without having any, specific confirmed evidence because we're not idiots. We observe. We know what's going on. Clearly, Donald is having some neurological issues, and he's having some health issues. It's obvious. He's also 79. So these are things to be expected. He's 79, he's under a lot of stress, and underlying all of that, and this is something I'm quite comfortable discussing because I am a clinical psychologist. He has severe, undiagnosed, therefore untreated psychiatric disorders going back decades. If something is untreated, it gets worse. That's all. That's all there is to it. So that will complicate all of the other potential alleged, health issues he has. So something's going on. I have no doubt about that. Will we ever find out? Remains to be seen. Mary Beth, thank you so very much for that. Awesome. He's Divine Scotto. Thank you. Comment. I'm left-handed and wear my watch on my left. You too are a unicorn. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how that people wear their watches on their non-dominant hands. Like I used to for until I was like 17, I wore my watch on my left hand, and then for very boring reasons, I switched to my right hand and haven't changed since. And it just feels so natural to me now that I'm not entirely sure why that's a thing that happened. It probably means like we're smarter than everybody else. I think that's yeah, I think that's what it indicates. I'm kidding. It doesn't mean anything. But it's unusual. Barbara, thank you very, very much. This is okay. On a non-news day, we have really good news. A Democrat won in special election in Virginia this week. Yes, more of that, please. Okay, guys, that is it for tonight. I have a hard out, as they say in the business. Thank you so much for being here. As you know, I love doing Ask Mary Anything within reason. And thanks in part to you guys, and thanks, I'm sure, in part to the moderators. The questions are almost always within reason, which makes this very pleasant. I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern for Mary Trump Live, and that's Monday through Friday, every night. So definitely come to that. Do not forget, at 8 o'clock tonight, this is just for this week because of issues. Trek Politics is at 8 p.m. Normally, it is at 6 p.m. on Saturdays, 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays, Trek Politics. Also, every day of the week, we have pre-recorded videos dropping. So the best way to help us out is to watch those videos, like them, share them, comment on them. The simplest way to help us is to subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 500,000 subscribers, and it would help us tremendously if you subscribed. Thanks to everybody watching on YouTube, everybody streaming on Twitter and Substack, to all of our new members, to everybody gifting new members, to everybody who is a super sticker, and of course, everybody giving us donations. We appreciate you so very much. To our moderators who just rock, quite frankly, and to my extraordinary team for being extraordinary all the time. And lately, they have been working overtime, and that is just incredible. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it more than I can say. All right, that's it. I will see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, everybody, please, please stay safe and be kind. Take it easy. Bye.